Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Demon Slayer. Last time on Demon Slayer we had You Must Master a Single Thing. I don't know why I'm saying it's so profound, I guess it is kind of profound in a sense. Anyway, so it was a Zenitsu episode. Zenitsu was fighting I wanted to just say spider demon, but that's not really specific in this mountain, in this forest. It was a demon with the head of a person, but the body of a giant spider. I hated it. But Zenitsu powered through his fears? He slept through his fears, I guess, and eventually defeated the demon, and he remembered the teachings of his master. And then he was dying, being poisoned, but he's using his breathing to slow the poison down, so hopefully he will be able to survive. So, yes. And then at the end, Tanjiro and Inosuke are facing the father of the spider demon family, who we presume is the member of the 12 Kizuki. However, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I bet he's not a member of the 12 Kizuki. But we'll have to find out. We will have to find out. So, like always, the reaction is in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Demon Slayer. Here we go. Alright, that's a problem. That is definitely a problem. I mean, the thing I can think, though, is that Nezuko is going to save him last second. Man, they both lost their swords. Did Zenitsu? I don't think Zenitsu lost his sword, though. But both Tanjiro and Inosuke, their swords broke. So that's not good. I mean, thankfully, Zenitsu and Inosuke have been saved. Zenitsu has been saved by Shinobu, and Inosuke has been saved by Giyu. Okay, I'm assuming, by the way, that Giyu was also a student of Urokodaki. That would make sense. But he doesn't wear a mask, and, well, I guess Tanjiro doesn't either, but he did for, 5 minutes. He did wear a mask for 5 minutes, but that was always a thing of Urokodaki students, was that they all had a mask, But then again, I guess the other girl, I can't remember her name now, it's been so long. But the other girl with the guy, let me just look at what their names were. Ah, yeah, Sabito and Makomo, that was it. So yeah, I guess, Sabito always wore his mask, but I think she had it, to the side. So yeah, but with the water breathing, it must be that Giyu is... Which, that makes sense that he would refer Tanjiro to Urokodaki then. I just don't know why that, didn't click in my head. So, I love seeing Giyu coming in and using the water breathing. That's just so cool. And... Look, every character Johnny Ambash plays is just amazing, They're just so cool. Whether it's, Jonathan Joestar or Lelouch V. Britannia or even Artemis on Sailor Moon, they're all bound to be cool in some way. And sure enough, here comes Giyu. Finally doing something. I've been waiting so long, because when did I watched that first episode in November. I know it came out in January, but I had to delay it after I recorded it because I got COVID. So I have been waiting half a year for Giyu to do something, And finally, I got it. I got my boy doing something. Alrighty. I wonder if he'll pull off the final form of water breathing, which... If I remember correctly, Tanjiro has done that. I just can't think of when it was, It was either against the drum demon or against the arrow demon. But I can't remember which one, so... Oh, boy. Man, so yeah, okay, and definitely with the father being dead, it's definitely the guy voiced by Billy Kometz that's the 12 Kizuki, which is why they always hide his left eye, you know? Which again, it is good hearing another role, another anime role voiced by Billy Kometz. God rest his soul. He was such an amazing voice actor. So it is nice to hear him again, you know? That should be like a challenge for me, is try to watch every anime that Billy Kometz was ever in, you know, because I just love his voice so much as as Josuke in JoJo, but also recently I'd watched through Cells at Work, where he played White Blood Cell, Neutrophil, so I really enjoyed that too. So yeah, but this one is definitely the member of the 12 Kizuki. So yeah, really, really interesting stuff, first off. And also, it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing because this episode is called A Forged Bond. And now look, I always see the episode titles ahead of time because how can I not? You know, they're just right there on Crunchyroll. So, yes, I already knew that was the episode name. I figured that it's like, oh, A Forged Bond. You know, that makes sense. It's a bond that has been forged between Tanjiro, Inosuke, and even Zenitsu as well. But it's interesting how, honestly, I feel like that does sort of take a double meaning. You know, yes, it is the forged bond between these demon slayers, you know, something that has been, you know, forged and, you know, like forged in fire, basically. Something that has been forged, something that has been created. But there's also the other side of the word forged, which is it is a forge, a falsified, you know, made up bond. And that is relating to this family of demons, which is interesting. So yeah, that is really, really interesting. And man, this dude's a little shit, I gotta say. This dude is an absolute shit. He keeps picking on the women of his family. Like, first it's his mother, now it's his sister, apparently. It's like, what is this? Who is this guy? You know? Like, I want Zenitsu to come in and tell him that all women are queens. That is absolutely something Zenitsu would say. Can we just mention that, by the way? The old meme of all women are queens, and the other guy saying, you know, if she breathes, she's a thought. It's like, that is definitely something that would take place between Zenitsu and this demon specifically. Can we all just say that? Man, this dude's a little shit. I will say, you know, as much as I love Billy Kometz and his voice, God rest his soul again, I will say this dude is really short to have that kind of voice, you know? Like, just the fact that he looks young, and he's fighting, and ironically enough, he's fighting Koichi, because Tanjiro is the voice of Koichi. So, but yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just the fact that they're the same height, and I always see characters voiced by Billy Kometz, you know, being tall. Josuke was tall. I guess, in a cosmic sort of way, White Blood Cell is not tall, but compared to Red Blood Cell, I guess he was, but I don't know. But whatever. I mean, he still did an amazing job, and it's still amazing to hear. It's just kind of funny. But yeah, but it's a false bond, a forged bond, and I do think they definitely did that as a double meaning, you know? So I really enjoyed that. And I will say the spider powers, it's interesting how much they're stretching spider powers in with this family. Because you had the mother who used the wires, but, you know, mainly used it to puppeteer people, you know? And then the other brother, he really didn't do anything with the web specifically, except just maneuver. He just was a giant spider. The dad did nothing. He was just a really buff dude with a spider face, you know? And now we get the son who uses them more like, you know, Walter from Helsing, you know, just as those, you know, wires that you can use and cut through things, which, you know, I see a lot of stuff in anime where characters will use wires, you know, like I'll see Best Jeanist on My Hero, or, you know, recently I started Stone Ocean, so I see that, you know, with Jolene. But I will say, nobody does it as violently as Walter from Helsing, you know? Because Walter from Helsing, Walter C. Dornay, you know, he's going through and slicing fuckers up left and right. But granted, I guess it's just because it's a, you know, it's a hardcore show. MHA is not. JoJo could be, but maybe not Jolene herself. But I like this show can do that, not because, I guess because he's not a hero, he is a villain. So he just sliced up that one. Man, that one dude sucked. That one Demon Slayer is like, oh, this dude's a child, I could defeat him. It's like, how did you not die already? Like, come on, give me a break, man. But yeah, but we had to have our guy come in and some guy come in and get wharfed so that we see the threat of the demon in front of us, you know? So yeah. And yeah, but that's the thing is that this dude is good. He has to be the member of the 12 Kizuki. And yeah, Tanjiro slightly out of his league, and now his sword broke and he could get sliced. But the main thing we still have, at least, unless another Demon Slayer comes in, but I don't think I think it was just Shinobu and Gyu who went in there. But at the very least, Tanjiro does have Nezuko, so in theory, Nezuko could save him. She hasn't done anything this whole fight, which is interesting. So yeah, this could be the moment where she comes in to save her brother, and then you get an actual sibling dynamic. You get, you know, true loving siblings, Tanjiro and Nezuko, and not this jackass and the sister he abuses, you know. Which, what did she even do? Like, why are you like beating up on her? Like, she didn't do anything. You're just a friggin', just a bitch. I want to say other words, but there are even some words that I don't even think that YouTube wants me to say. So, well, I mean, there's obviously ones that YouTube doesn't want me to say, and I don't want to say those. But I think you guys know what I'm getting at. I hope so. Otherwise, I might need to cut this section out. Anyway. But yeah, a forged bond. I like the double meaning of that. I also like going back to Inosuke. I like the sort of I guess the duality of his mind, because we said it's like, oh, okay, so he's just, he's a kid, he's basically just a kid who, yeah, a lot of times, he just acts like a kid who hasn't been around people. But I like how this was the first time where he started to get afraid, and he was like, oh, I can't do this. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm going to end up dying. And then he just kept going through. It's like, no, I can't. I cannot die. That's not how I do this, And even remembering back to Tanjiro, the first friend he's ever had, and definitely a sort of older brother figure, even though he wouldn't admit that. He's like, no, I won't die. I promised that I wouldn't die, so I'm gonna do this. And then, luckily, he wasn't able to do it, but he was saved by Gyu. But yeah, but that was really, really interesting. Honestly, as time goes on, I'm way more interested in Inosuke than I am in Zenitsu. So yeah, we're gonna have to work on that. But I mean, Zenitsu, he had good moments last episode, but I am definitely Inosuke is just a very interesting character, just on the fact that, yeah, he's basically just a kid. And we even see just a bit of his backstory, how apparently he's like Moses, basically. He was abandoned as a child, but for some reason, honestly, what is it? This is the backstory of Ocarina of Time, where Link's parents, spoilers, I guess. I mean, if you play Ocarina of Time, you'll find this out in the first 10 minutes or so. Or is it? Or wait, or is that in the manga? This may actually be in the manga adaptation of Ocarina of Time. I guess it doesn't matter, but basically, it's a whole thing of Link's parents were dying. They got to the Kokiri Forest, gave baby Link to the Great Deku Tree, and, the Kokiri raised him. Just have that, except take out the Kokiri and the Great Deku Tree, and it's just a baby in a forest, basically. I mean, someone had to have taken care of Inosuke for a little while, you know? You know, as a sort of Grandpa Gohan, you know? But, I don't know. It's just, but it's all very, very interesting. So yeah, really, really good episode. Really good stuff. And I got my boy back. I got my boy, my Johnny on Bosch boy. I got him back. So that's always good. So I'm very curious to see where we are going next time. But that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist for all of my Demon Slayer reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.